All right, so once again we have Lucy. Lucy putting down. Snoopy, he sees the positive. And we talked before a little bit about seeing people through the eyes of the Lord. And today we're going to go a little bit more into this understanding of what it means to be a positive person for the Lord Jesus Christ. We live in a society that is so negative. Have you noticed? You watch the news, and the news, basically this is what the news does in order to get our attention. This is what's wrong with the world. They try to shock you with all the bad stuff. And you got to see what's happening, what's bad in the world. And we all rush to it, It's like whenever there's an accident, everybody slows down so they can get a good look. They want to see, is there anything, and because we want to see all the bad. And we have to be careful that we don't get drawn into that negativity that the world wants to have. It's a place of darkness that we just don't want to get into, because the negativity, it's one thing to say that I'm critical of a particular position in a political or economic situation, or, it's one thing to be observant and try to be that person who analyzes things, but it's another thing to just have a critical spirit. And we have to be careful that we don't confuse the two. Because, like I said, we live in a society where it just seems like we're looking for a reason to be negative. It's like the wife, not my wife, a wife. She went to the store and she bought her husband 2 ties. And she brought them home and she said, "Here, I got you the gift of these 2 ties." And he looked at it, he liked them so much, he immediately went into the bedroom and he put one on. And he came out and showed her, "See, I have the tie you bought me on already." And what did she say? "What's wrong with the other one? You didn't like the other one?" And you say, "Oh, what kind of negativity is that?" I remember watching a video this week, Bonnie had posted on Facebook, and it was all about how we can set people up with questions that we shouldn't ask. Anybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Larry. You better believe it.
I kind of had to. I was tired when I quit.
And one of the things that we can do to people is set them up. The particular, I'm trying to remember the particular illustration that was in that one, but there was one of those where the wife would come in and she said, "You see anything different?" And the guy's like, Your hair different? Why? What's wrong with my hair? You don't like my hair?" That kind of thing. And we have to be careful that we don't set things up ourselves like that. So we live in a society that's very negative, and we're always looking for the negative instead of looking for the positive. And you say, "Well, what's the problem with that? We live in a bad world." I'm just being realistic. Well, we have to have a positive attitude. And I'm not talking about rose-colored glasses type of attitude, where we just see the good in everything that's bad and say, "Oh, bad is good." We don't redefine those kinds of things. In other words, I'm talking about a realistic type of positive attitude, realizing that in the midst of all the negative, there is still much good in the world, in the church. There's still much good in our lives. And we need to focus our attention and our energy on what is good. And why do we do that? Well, for one thing, it's very biblical. We're actually called as Christians to be positive people. Did you know that? Did you know that?
Amen. That's right.
And if we're not positive people, then we're not living the way Christ wants us to live. I see a lot of Christians who define their Christianity by their anti-this and anti-that. That's not how we define ourselves. We define ourselves by our pro-this and pro-that. Now let's get into some of those pros. But if we're going to take a look at this, let's first of all understand that the message that I'm talking about comes from Paul. Paul, in Philippians 4:8, says the following: "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, positively think about such things. See, now that's a positive. He says basically whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is lovely, whatever is excellent, whatever is praiseworthy. Think about it. Put those in your head. Don't be thinking about all the other things. Think about these type of things. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, which is a passage for today, 1 Thessalonians 5, 12 through 18, Paul gives us a very clear understanding of what it means to be a positive person for Jesus Christ. A person who doesn't see all the wrong, but a person who begins to see what's right. I really think that one of the things we as Christians have to be careful of is this. If I begin to define my Christianity by what I don't do. Hi.
Hello.
I'm just going to give you a second. I don't normally just stop, but you walk to the front and I'm so... The roof. All right, anyway. Here's what you hear. All right. My friendship. Okay. Now, one of the things that we as Christians have to be careful with, we define our Christianity too often by negative. As a Christian, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do this, I don't do that. If you define your Christianity by doing that, you're a Pharisee. Because Christ defined it by what we do. Did you realize that? The Pharisees defined their faith by what they didn't do. Jesus said, these are the ways that they will know who you are, by what you do. So, as Christians, we have to think positively. The pro, okay? And one of the very first things he says here is, he says, okay, now, here we are. What we need to do in order to have a positive attitude is to, first of all, develop an attitude towards spiritual leaders. Develop that positive attitude towards them in such a way to where we're supportive of these people. Paul begins by telling us that the best way to develop a positive attitude is by supporting leadership. I'm not talking about me. I'm not saying everybody's got to support me, you know. Think about all the leaders that you have right here in this church. Leaders in various things. Are we really supportive of them, or are we critical? Do we say, hey, how can I help you? What's going on? Even if we see something that appears to be wrong for a moment, do we stop and say to ourselves, wow, they must need help? Or do we say to ourselves, man, they're lousy this and lousy that? See? The positive attitude that Christians should always have is, how can I help this person? You see somebody who's in trouble. It's real easy to see somebody and go, look at them, man. Look at their economic situation. They just need to get a job. How about if you say this? Hey, how can I help you in any way? Are you looking for work? Can I help? I'll put some feelers out. You need groceries? What's going on with your life? What's happening? How can I be there for you? What? And you say, wow, do you realize how much that's going to put me out? Yeah, I do. That's called taking up your cross daily and living for Christ, right? Okay, so we've already established that this is what the Christian is supposed to be doing. But if we're going to have a positive attitude, we have to have that positive attitude towards the people who are trying to lead us in that direction. Okay, so let's start off with Philippians chapter 5. These are verses 12 through 13. It says this. Now we ask you, brothers, to respect those who work hard among you, who are over you in the Lord, and who admonish you. Hold them in the highest regard and in love because of their work. Live in peace with each other. Wow. It's wonderful when the church works in harmony. It's a beautiful thing to see when people work together in a spirit of love, in a spirit of cooperation. It's wonderful. It's also one of the worst things when the church doesn't live in harmony. And so he's making sure that we understand right off the bat that as the body of Christ, we must be harmonious. We must be working in such a way with one another to where we have an encouragement factor that is way over the top. Why way over the top? Well, see, that's what I believe that Christ wants us to be. He wants us to be over the top Christians. Do you need encouragement? I'm here for you, man. If you need something, I'm here for you, man. Oh, I didn't need that much. I kind of wish that people in our church would go, people in the church help me too much. Has anyone ever had that complaint? Anybody ever? The people in the church help me too much? You see, we all need help. We all need help. And so that's one of the things that we have to do right from the beginning is to realize that our leadership is trying to help us in that direction. Now, if they need help, you encourage them, you build them up instead of taking them down, and you're going to find out something. They're going to flourish in that, and the ministry is only going to get better. Encourage the leadership. Build them up. Hold them in respect. And I'm talking about all the people that do so much. I mean, think about this on Sundays. Some people just come in for church and they go, wow, everything's done. You realize there are people that come in early to have lights to make breakfast. There are people who study Sunday school lessons for hours in order to be able to teach a class. What about NMI and all of the things that we're able to share what's happening around the world? NYI, working with the youth and the teenagers, something that I don't really think I'm called to do. I like you guys over there. All right. No, seriously, though. I think that's a calling. All of these things are callings that we have. And when people follow those things, follow heading up things, I think about Amy and the administration work that she does. She does an amazing job. She never remember. She doesn't remember. She's in her office. Good, okay. Amy does an amazing job. I mean, way over the top. Okay, and she will, if you're in any bind whatsoever, all you gotta do is say, I'm not sure what to do about this, and she will fix it. She's like a mechanic for church problems. I'm telling you, she's amazing at that. And sometimes she'll take criticism, like, oh, she's a little bossy or something like that. I go, she's not bossy, she's fixing what you didn't do. But I don't say that directly to people. Yeah, that's what she's doing. Because she was not sick for 6 months, and so she's fixing it. Praise God for her.
Amen.
Not that anything done. Do you understand what I mean by building people up? Lifting people up, being glad for people. The little kid who's trying to put something on themselves, and the parent comes over and tries to help, and they go, I can do it, and then they don't do it, right? Because they don't know how to tie the tie. They don't know how to do certain things. Sometimes other people do. And just be grateful that it's happening. Just go, time by time. Feel free. Show me how to do it later. We'll work on it. And enjoy. But encourage them in the process. It's not really all that hard. Well, I can go on and on about that, and I probably have. So I just want you to know that people do what they do because they want to serve God, and they want to serve you. And if they're not doing it up to your level, show them some grace. Give them lots of grace. Just like the grace you would want to be extended to you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Grace. Somebody, give me grace when I'm going to make mistakes. You know if they got to make mistakes as a pastor all the time? Anybody that works close with me knows I make a lot of mistakes. Okay? And I don't do it on purpose. It just happens. And what I would hope that people do is to say, you know what? I know he loves God, and I know he loves me. And he just blew it. He didn't do it right. It happens. Wouldn't you want people to do that to you? If your heart was in the right place? See, I want to be doing something for Jesus, even if it's making mistakes. Second thing, develop a positive attitude towards other believers. Now the second thing we need in developing a positive and joyful spirit is really for us to really see each other in such a positive light. Listen to 1 Thessalonians 5:14 through 15. It says, and we urge you, brothers, warn those who are idle, encourage the timid, help the weak, be patient with everyone. Make sure that nobody pays back wrong for wrong, but always try to be kind to each other and to everyone else. It's great advice. It's painful advice. Wow, Paul. Couldn't you have said something like, Be kind to people who are good to you. That would have been so much easier. But he has to say, Paul's saying you really need to be positive, and not just towards the leaders, but to everybody. Treating everybody. How do you do that? Do you know some of the people I know, Paul? Obviously you didn't. All you had was a bunch of prison guards. So how well are we going to do with this category? I mean, as we go out, get in our car, will we be saying positive things or negative? Are you a positive person or are you a negative person? Are you the kind of person that thinks positive things about people, or are you critiquing them constantly? Do you think people are always constantly critiquing you? See, they always say the child grows up with criticism, they'll learn to criticize, right? Maybe you were a child who grew up with criticism. Maybe you were a child that was constantly put down. Maybe you had the mom that meant well, but just didn't quite know how to say to you, I love you and I want what's best for you. Instead, they said, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too short, you do this, you do that. Why don't you try something else? Why don't you be more like your sister? Why don't you be more like your brother? Why don't you sit down? Why don't you shut up? Why don't you talk more? Okay, whatever. And you constantly, as a kid, going, I don't know how to act, I don't know how to respond, I don't know what to do. And so when we get older, we begin to criticize other people. They talk too much, they sit down too much, they stand up too much, they're too tall, they're too short. You see what I'm saying? We begin to have that critical attitude. But we're not supposed to be that way. Instead, we're supposed to see each other as God's creation. Instead of critiquing the way they look, we should be saying, look, God made them more unique than me. How awesome is that? Instead of critiquing how intelligent they are, you say, praise the Lord that they can walk. I don't know. Praise the Lord that they can talk. Praise the Lord that they're here. Praise the Lord that He made them. They are who they are. And I praise God for who they are. Instead of critiquing how well they do something, we should say, I'm just excited that they're doing it. Once again, it comes to the attitude. What is my attitude? It's difficult to do sometimes, especially when people are jerks. And they are. You're driving down the road. You're going speed limit. You're in the middle lane. Got kids in the back seat. All of a sudden, some teenager in a car that Mom and Daddy bought for him comes flying around with a Johnson County license plate. Almost takes you out. Almost takes out the van and the truck in front of him. In fact, the truck over there just had to swerve a little bit to keep from causing the accident. And your first thought is, praise the Lord for that car. Praise the Lord, he's okay. Praise the Lord, no one dies. Praise the Lord for the cop who's going to take it and make him stop doing it. You can have a positive attitude or you can have a negative attitude. If you have the negative attitude, you've got to make sure you don't demonstrate it, but instead say, Lord, help me to deal with it. Because if you demonstrate it, it's out of the bag, right? So as Christians, we need to have a positive attitude, even in situations like that. And they're infuriating, I know. But if we begin to change the way that we see things, we begin to change the way our heart perceives them. Paul writes in Colossians 3:12-13, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievance that you may have against one. Forgive as the Lord has forgiven you.
Amen.
Are we forgiving people? Do we hold grudges? Are we looking right? Well, you don't know what they said. No, I don't. Forgive them. Oh, I can't forgive this. No, I think you can, really. Actually, I think you can. Because God has forgiven you everything. Everything you've ever done. He's forgiven you and He's placed you in a place to where that grace should fill you up. And you should be able to say, you know what? I've been forgiven so much, I can forgive that person. And you know what? The saying is true. Bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. If you don't allow this bitterness to eat you up, you're going to find out your life is much more trouble. So really, being forgiving of people is for you as well as anyone. And then you begin to have a positive attitude, even towards a jerk. And instead of being a jerk, they just sort of become the sway. I don't know. Well, they're a little odd duck. Maybe we'll just call them that. I don't know. But I still care about the person, and I still love them, and I still hope and pray that no one gets hurt with their weird driving. And if I ever get to know the person on a personal level, I'm going to make sure that I mention to them that they're dangerous for society. But I'm more concerned about them getting in an accident than I am about being right. Be positive in all circumstances. That's the third thing. The last thing Paul suggests in developing a positive spirit is to be positive in all circumstances of life. And man, this is a tough one. Listen to verses 6 through 18. He says, be joyful always. Pray continually. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Now, we don't always do that. In fact, it's a very difficult thing to do, because circumstances come up, and sometimes they are really rough. So how are we to do this, Paul? Because Paul says in all circumstances, regardless of what's happening in our lives, we're to be joyful. We're to pray and give thanks. And that is a tough lesson to learn. When you're going through tough times, when you're going through times of your own personal illness, for example, or when you're injured, or when you really wanted something, or when something was taken from you, how do you possibly have joy and peace at that time? Well, I'm going to give you a story about somebody that I personally knew, and she was one of the greatest ladies I ever knew. Her name was Claire Cafasso. She was actually Irish, but she married an old Italian guy from East Boston. And Claire Cafasso, Carmine was her husband. But I got to meet her. She had Lou Gehrig's disease. You know what that is? And it was eating away. It's a horrible and vicious type of cancer. Eating away at her body. She was in a wheelchair. She had lost her hands at this point. She could no longer use those. And she would always be the most friendly, welcoming person in the room. She was constantly being nice to kids who would come up to her. And I know that it hurt tremendously when the kids would run up and hug her. But she let them come up and hug her. My kids, the kids of our friends. And I remember all the times that she was sitting there and medical problems would go, and she would just say, well, here we go again. And she was amazing. I've never seen anyone with that kind of a positive spirit, with that kind of a joy, with that kind of a love for other people, and I just couldn't fathom it. She was the greatest woman I think I've ever met in my life. And it's because of her spiritual attitude and the positiveness. I would go to see her, and they lived in the suburb of Boston. I went to see her and to encourage her and to pick her up, and I would get encouraged. And I began to realize something is that she had the most positive spirit because she was focused upon what God was doing. And she said, I know I'm going to see the Lord's. And that's okay. I said, what about all the pain that you're going through? And she goes, yeah, that's there. But there's more important things happening in the world. I could have it worse. How could you have it worse? I wouldn't have all these people around me who love me. I wouldn't have the ministry that I do. There were so many amazing things. When she passed away, I did a funeral. I'm going to estimate. We could not get enough people in the church, okay? We had closed circuit TV, and we had people in the basement, we had people there, and we had a full bagpipe band. It was amazing to see that. And she was just a secretary in her regular life. She didn't No, she wasn't big in the town. Her name wasn't in all the papers. But people just knew how much she loved them. And they flocked to her funeral because they all loved her so very much. Her positive attitude made her a hero in my mind. And that's why I say she was the greatest Christian woman I've ever met in my life. And I will never forget her. That makes a difference. You say, what kind of a person do you want to be? Do you want to be the kind of person that people hope they can forget? Or do you want to be the kind of person that people just can't forget because of the way that you love them, forgive them, and are concerned about them? Your positive attitude makes all the difference in the world. But I'm not telling you to be positive. The Bible is. So, it's up to you what you want to do. Once again, what does Paul say? Be joyful always. Pray continually. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. If you have a problem with a negative attitude, if you find yourself being negative all the time, ask the Lord to help you. Lord, help me to be positive. Help me to have the right attitude towards people. I want to love people. They're so hard to love. And let God transform them. And you have to do it daily, sometimes hourly. In some situations, by the minute. But God can help you. And eventually, you're going to begin to see things the way that He does. And begin to see things in a new light. And God will make you a more positive person. A more positive Christian. And a more positive witness. This is the promise. Father, we thank you.